Most belief systems have a god you can talk to, or interface with in your own way. A being that listens, that judges, that intervenes. The one above is not that. The one above does not listen. It does not answer. And it does not act. What he or it is, according to Thalian theologians, is a radiance, an infinite self-sustaining source from which all things flow, without intent. Standard analogy is, of course, the sun. The sun does not know what its light touches. It does not choose to shine. It simply is. The one above is the same. Creation in this framework is an emanation. Light thrown off by a flame that burns for no reason and for no one. This produces a faith that operates differently from what an outsider might expect. The faithful do not pray to the one above directly. There's no point. You don't petition the sun to shine. You stand in its light and try to live well. What Thalians do pray to are called the manifestations. Aspects of the one above that condensed out of his radiance and gained autonomy. The way a reflection in water can ripple independently of the face above it. There are 5 great manifestations recognized across most of the world. For today, the most important thing is the relationship. The manifestations are part of the divine that can be reached in some way. The one above is the greater part that cannot. This produces some uncomfortable questions, and Thalian theology has never fully settled them. The first question is whether prayer is meaningful at all if the one above is unaware. The orthodox answer is that yes, prayer to the manifestations is meaningful because the manifestations are real and listening. The one above does not need to be involved. But not everyone is satisfied with that answer. 3 counter-traditions have circulated for millennia. The first is referred to as the veiled wakefulness, held quietly by a lot of educated Slamothian clergy, particularly out of Garaviel University. They argue that the one above is not unaware, but deliberately silent. That direct attention from a source so complete would obliterate whatever it touched. A god who can be petitioned can disappoint. A god who cannot be petitioned cannot fail. The silence in this reading is mercy. This is a more accepted counter-tradition, and a tradition that famed scientist, natural philosopher, and inventor Professor Ben-Hael Lixwide would adhere to. The second is the diffuse attention position, more common in Dratzenberg and Ramilia among secret, mostly wiped out heretical sects. It holds that the one above's awareness is the manifestations, that they are not autonomous aspects, but his way of perceiving and interacting with creation. The way a person's eyes are not separate from the person. Prayer to a manifestation, in this view, is prayer reaching the one above through the only sensory organ that he has. The third theory is called the hollow sun. This position is treated as outright heresy by every major church. The hollow sun holds that the one above is not unaware, but dead. That what mortals perceive as divine radiance is merely the afterglow of a being that has already ceased to exist. And the manifestations are continuing on borrowed time, and that perhaps something is waiting in the wings to take their place. This line of thought is popular amongst occult groups like the Bloodbearers. This particular position was held by the artist and occultist intellectual Lysarther Morelian. None of these positions have been formally resolved. They sit alongside the orthodoxy and have for hundreds of years. The Thalian faith is unusually tolerant of the question. Sometimes. One last note before closing. The one above is not the only divine being. There is another, older in some accounts, flawed in all of them, and the focus of the next episode. His name is Tarthul. The material world itself was built by him, not by the one above. We'll be talking about him next time. But the one above remains the foundation of this system. The unmoving, unspeaking, unknowable light that everything else depends on. Whether he's awake, asleep, or already gone, no one can say for certain. The Thalian faith is built on the answer being just out of your grasp.
Listen, Miss Maloney, I've a word or two to say. You made me a promise that you'd marry me someday. There's no time like springtime for a lover's holiday.